Hello, everybody. Welcome to your daily update with your friend Angry Tim. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about America's savings. Um, Pretty much has been just dropping ever since the pandemic. You can see that there. The peak was in 2021. It was $2.1 trillion in August of 2021, and it's been dropping steadily since. Now we're in negative territory. And currently, uh, as of September 2024, we are at minus $291 billion. Now, all of this, all the green you see there, where it starts off down here and goes straight up, that was all the stimulus money. It was all part of the fake economy. People were getting unemployment. People were getting stimulus checks. People were not having to pay rent, not having to pay mortgages, not having to pay student loan debt. So, and you couldn't go out. Everything was closed. You couldn't go out to restaurants. You couldn't go shopping. You couldn't travel. So people were just stuck at home. And every week they'd get their unemployment check or whatever stimulus they were getting. And they didn't have to pay their rent, their mortgage. So their savings started to grow. As you can see, it went straight up and it peaked. So a lot of places like online, Amazon, eBay, Etsy, a lot of these places were doing really well because everyone was shopping online because they couldn't leave their house. But as the economy started to open up again, they started to cut back on all the stimulus. They started to cut back on all the unemployment. I forgot what it was in the beginning, but it was some ridiculous amount. People were getting paid more to stay home than they were getting paid when they were actually working at their job. So it was ridiculous for a while. But I think just recently, a lot of the student loans, I believe it was this year, all of that was paused up until just recently. Now they have to start paying that back. Same with the rents, same with the mortgages. So now people have to start spending money again, coming out of their savings. People started to go shopping again. People started to go traveling again, and they're blowing through all that money. They have, well, I mean, at this point, they're in negative. It's minus 291 billion. So they're worse off now than before the whole pandemic. So that whole little period where the economy was just booming, everyone was hiring, people were getting, pay raises, or people were being offered jobs working different companies. They were working. I heard stories of people who had remote jobs and they were working for like two or three different companies as a full-time employee, but because it was a remote job at home, no one knew how many, they were multitasking and getting like two or three different salaries. That's all over. Large corporations figured that out. They're trying to get rid of a lot of people. So they're calling them back to the office, and most people have moved away. So they don't even live in these cities anymore where their office is, and they don't want to go back to the office. They enjoy staying at home, and I don't blame them, but it's kind of a way for big corporations to say, hey, if you don't come back to the office by such and such date, you're fired. So it's the whole thing is completely turning around. Now people don't have money. Everything's cutting back. Stores are closing. People are getting laid off. So it's just a whole opposite economy. Interest rates have skyrocketed because all of a sudden, all these people just got a bunch of free money. Of course, they went out and spent it. And when you create that kind of demand suddenly, well, the prices of everything will go up. And now it's kind of the opposite. The prices are up, inflation is up, but no one is shopping, no one is buying anything. So stores are all of a sudden just closing, restaurants are closing. So this problem is, I don't know where are we going to get back to what normal is? Because obviously all of that was just fake. All that money was fake. All that shopping was fake. People were buying new cars. They were bidding for new cars, overpaying MSRP. Well, now they're really sorry about that because their cars are worth, I mean, they could be losing 10, 15, 20, 30% of what they paid in just the first year. So it was crazy. Everything. People were buying these Swiss watches, Rolex watches, and whatnot, and they were paying over asking price. I heard some of the Rolex dealers would make you have to buy two watches if you wanted maybe a new GMT or any of the new Rolex watches, they say, okay, well, if you want that particular model, you'd also have to buy a second watch, maybe a lady's Rolex, and then maybe we'll let you have this one. So, I mean, everyone was just very greedy. People were, they had money, they didn't care, they were just overpaying for everything. And now, the luxury Swiss watch market is crashing. New car sales, used car sales, home prices, not so much yet, but there's just not a lot of activity. But people are holding on. I've read about people with their 3% mortgages, the ones who got it really cheap. Even they are starting to lose their homes, even with the low mortgages. They just don't have enough money. Even though their mortgage is low, the cost of everything around them has gone up, and unfortunately they got to either sell that home or they'll lose the home. So we're just getting into that now. So we're not out of the woods. Um, so I wanted to go over a couple more things in a later video, talking about getting started on something on the side. Um, there's some really easy things you can start right away. It doesn't take a lot of money. I know there's a lot of you out there thinking about it, you're on the fence about it, but you're not really sure how to get started. You don't want to spend a lot of money. Maybe you don't know, a whole lot about certain things. You're not an expert in it and you don't, you want to learn more. So we'll talk a little bit about that in the next video. But just today, seeing this chart about the savings, you can see how all that kind of free money came in. It created this fake economy. Everything was booming. Everything seemed awesome, right? For a while, everyone was hiring. There weren't enough workers. Pay was going up. Inflation was going up. The price of housing was going up. Everything was great. And then boom, it's just falling apart right now. So how bad is this going to get? I have no idea. But people are negative, which means their savings is now debt. So instead of having $20,000 in their bank account, they're like minus 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, and it's just getting worse. If we look at this chart in another year, um, that minus 10,000 now in their bank account might be minus 20, unless things turn around. So now is a good time to try and get something going as everything is sinking. The prices of everything, it's still going up. You need to get started right now. And I'm going to get into that in the next video, but I just wanted a quick update here that kind of helps explain what's going on, where all this money came from and where it went. It just vanished. The economy just overnight just vanished and collapsed. And this explains a lot of it. So that's just a quick update today, and I'll have more for you in a little bit. This is your daily update with your friend, Angry Tim.